Hiya, I'm just going to carry on as if it hasn't been years since I last did one of these. I've got a couple of recordings with a couple of good pals, one with my pal Rab, who I've known since school, and Jerry, who I've known for many years, but I've been sitting on the recordings for a wee while because I realised after I'd recorded them again that there's quite a lot of technical issues. In this recording with Rab, around about the 6-minute mark the audio improves, but around about 20-ish minutes things start to get a bit ropey again. We weren't wearing the mics, we should have been wearing the mics, but we weren't wearing them. Also, one of the recorders messed up, so my side of the conversation is at times almost completely inaudible, but I don't really think I say anything that's ever worth hearing anyway. So you'll be able to hear Rab alright. I will say that around about 1 hour and 16 minutes there's some really nauseating industry schmoozing going on. So have a paper bag ready for that. I really struggle to pick a song to play with Rab's podcast recording because we've known each other for that long and we discovered a lot of music together when we were much younger. There's a hell of a lot to pick for. But I credit Rab as the reason for me being as big a Prince fan as I've become, which is why I picked a Prince song for this podcast, but then realised that you're not allowed to play Prince songs on YouTube because you'll just get a worldwide ban. So instead I picked a Stephen Jones of Babybird fame song, Almost Cured of Sadness, which was a song that we used in Consolvania, the game show that we started making in 2004. Both me and Rab have got an enormous appreciation for the work of Stephen Jones. We were rifling through his back catalogue at the same time as we were making Consolvania, and it's one of the discoveries that's unlike anything else. If you don't know the music of Babybird or Stephen Jones, and for God's sake, sort that out, it has such a authentic but brilliantly homemade quality to it a lot of the time. Stephen Jones is, along with Lewis Taylor, I think one of the geniuses that never got the recognition that they deserved. Hearing his music is always very nostalgic to me. There's not that much nostalgia in this conversation that I recorded with Rab just a few weeks ago. It is just a conversation, as all these podcasts will be. They're just conversations for you to listen into, if you've got the patience to try and listen into, because it is really, given the audio quality, like trying to earwig in on somebody in a cafe or bar. Hopefully you can get something fair. So here's a 2-hour conversation with me and my pal Rab. Hi, it's Ryan. I'm in Botanic Gardens. This is where me and Robert were thinking about doing a podcast recording conversation thing, but it looks for the skies that it's going to be a big storm in about 20 minutes. So he's away into Oranmore. He'll probably be half cut when I get there. Don't actually know if the audio's going to be usable in Oranmore, but I'm going to have to go there and find it. I'm just going to leave this running as I walk out, because apparently I've got about 33 hours on this memory card to film. I haven't mentioned to Rab yet that it's a 33-hour long podcast. It's hard to find a gimmick these days that you think is going to be popular because there's so many podcasts in existence, but I think there are only many 33-hour ones. If I make a 33-hour podcast every day, I'm not sure how I can physically do that, but if I can do that, it's actually not that loud. might get away with it.
Yes.
Hello.
How you
Hello.
doing?
I thought it'd be much louder than this, but this is actually usable on here.
It's quiet.
That's a radio. That's the gimmick.
Is it running?
And there's 33 euros in America. If you go 33 euros.
33 euros of memory. Okay, my earphones are off. It's just as well didn't say anything incriminating the minute you walked in.
Which what you usually.
Aye. What's that?
What type of headphones have you?
They're Sony ones, but I don't know what ones they are. They're good. I mean, they're good.
What?
Headphones.
I don't know.
Noise cancelling ones. They're good.
They're a must for flying and stuff like flights.
Aye. I know that I fly much. You fly far more than I do.
That's the first. Going to Barcelona was the first time in 4 years.
Was it? You're away quite a lot though.
Not first.
And New York in January was the first time in, I don't know, must have been about like 4 or 5 years for me as well. 5, 6 years.
That was good.
We shouldn't be flying.
That's what I'm saying. Safi was talking about going to like Iceland and other countries, and I'm like, but we're not talking about climate crisis, is it not like right there? Every day that there was a crisis. Doesn't seem right. But then did I show you that tweet? The one about the Finnish airlines running 3,000 flights just so they could keep their place in the departure queue.
Empty flights. Right. I mean, listen, it's over.
That's my opinion as well.
It's
over.
over.
One of the because I don't really. This is just a conversation, recorded conversation. But I do write questions down, and that one of them was, "Are you optimistic?" Because that's kind of where I am as well. I'm like, not just because of the climate crisis stuff as well. It's just because of men. See, just because the way people live their lives and how kind of selfish and dangerous we are. Anthony Hopkins in Westworld, the TV series Westworld, said that we're the most murderous species to ever walk the planet.
Aye, well, aye. Aye, I would imagine so. Try to think who else is more murderous. XL Bullies, the dogs. But no, I mean, I just kind of feel it's ridiculous now. I almost feel it's spinning in the opposite direction when I'm like, to Jen, fucking bother recycling, what's the fucking point now? It's like, this is the...
We live in a fucking shoe, basically, a tiny wee flat, and Saff insists on recycling everything. I need to walk to the glass recycling.
This is the
place to store glass.
The myth that's been sold to us though is that what we do can make any fucking impact upon it, and I suppose of course it can, you know. It can make we incremental.
If people want to have a complete change of mindset, then that would be a good byproduct of recycling, but I think it just pisses everybody off.
No, I mean, we do it, but it's just, there's nothing, everything's just going to continue to get worse because government's only going to...
It's a circus. For what I've seen.
Are you watching it and good?
Not much. Finished the third series of Westworld and was pretty much raging by then. Yeah.
Why did you even bother?
I don't know.
Does it even, because that's the last one, right? I thought series.
No, there's another one.
Is there?
There's another one. But it's just I think obviously the budget's way low. I don't know if that's a business model thing that they do in America or they HBO, but like the first series is. Have you seen it?
I've seen the first series.
No. Because it's really downhill after the first series. Like everywhere, like kind of every department, like everything just feels a bit cheaper. But by the third series, it's like they're running through empty streets, and like Maeve is running through an assault course that you would expect to see in like a $50,000 movie.
Murdoch Park, she's not Murdoch.
Aye, kind of. There's just like a fridge here and there that's on fire that she's rolling past.
I blame audiences for a lot of this stuff.
Expectations, you mean? Or
For shows getting shite.
appetites?
I think that audiences online enjoy the wrong things about stuff that kind of go. Well, what I mean is, they'll watch the first series of Westworld and they'll go, this is the best thing about it. This is iconic. This is this is that. And then the writers listen to that, and then the writers forget what they were writing about and start writing towards what people say were the best bits of their show. And I think audiences are notoriously bad at knowing why they like something.
I've just realised that I spat out all my opinions there about it, and I've not even bothered to look at who was writing the individual episodes. I don't even know if it was different people in the second series. I was listening to
Peter Mullen's in it. Is he in it?
he's good. I mean, actually, the second series is pretty good, but I wish
I
they'd
occasionally glanced at it and went, "What's going on in it?" And then it was like samurais, and I was like, "What's going on?"
What gets worse than the last shot with Aaron Paul in the third series, it looks as if I made it in After Effects. It's fucking terrible.
They must have maybe they've just lost faith in it and cut the budget.
But that's what I was saying about the business model. Is that a thing that you have like a prestige first series and then you can coast for a wee while still getting audience figures?
I don't know what it is.
I always thought
That's the thing with the
HBO were
writers'
kind of more
strike.
about the artistic side of things. Like they don't really care about what the form is of the programme.
Aye. I think sometimes as well, people can sometimes have a cracking idea for one series or something, and then they'll like scraping the barrel a wee bit.
It was fucking really messy by the third series. But then I went on my stream and people were telling me that the fourth series is actually a wee bit better than the third series. So
But then it still doesn't have a proper resolution, does it? Because was it not cancelled? Or were they told they were winding up and did the last series? Or?
I don't know. Started watching Ahsoka, the Star Wars show.
I watched one episode of that and I actually thought it was alright.
It's pretty good, it's alright. The cast are good. That guy is dead good, and I couldn't place but I recognise him for the. Have you seen the guy? Well, you've seen the first episode, the guy with the beard. The baddie that died. But he was in Rome, the TV series Rome. It was brilliant.
I mean, obviously I've seen. You know, how much have you seen?
Of what?
Ahsoka.
4.
Well, you know Anakin. You know Hayden Christensen's in it, right?
Aye, I saw that.
I kind of feel it's weird because obviously, like, you know, I have my feelings about the prequels, but I'm really enjoying that guy getting some love for the. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm enjoying that actor being embraced
Aye.
by the online community and people being like.
It must have been pretty tough. I mean, still people liked it at the time, I'm sure.
There were some people that liked it, but there was a lot of.
Did you not see your greeting in the last
Yeah, I love Revenge of the Sith. I love Revenge of the Sith.
Were you pissed?
No, I think I was just invested in it. But I like him
Did
getting.
you cry when Iron Man died in Marvel?
Did I cry when Iron Man died? Is that a spoiler, by the way, for people that
I think
haven't,
everybody knows better.
I don't know if but I was probably emotional. I'm quite easily manipulated by films, blockbuster films or that kind of thing. Yes, I probably was a bit sad, but you know, I'd have been even more sad if I'd known that was the end of Marvel films being any good. They'd probably been great.
Have I told you about that fantasy I had when Disney first bought Star Wars? I thought I had this stupid idea that it'd be brilliant if they didn't just make kind of mainstream shows all the time, kind of pitching it almost in the middle all the time. They picked different budgeted directors, but also kind of different art style directors to direct. Like Tim Burton, getting Tim Burton to do a teleseries, getting David Lynch to do a teleseries, a Star Wars teleseries. But obviously,
You just never do it because they don't.
it's no. I don't know.
I'm not sure the directors that make the films really properly make them. Do you know what I mean? I don't think they can get to. I'm not saying that fucking James Gunn doesn't direct the Guardians of the Galaxy films. Obviously, he does, but there's probably limitations. Like David Lynch wouldn't work within the limitations, I don't think, of Marvel saying this is what's happening in the story. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
You'd want David Lynch to make a Doctor Strange film, wouldn't you?
Aye. Definitely.
But then, sometimes I think as well, though, sometimes I say things like that, and then I think, see, when I was a wee guy, I wouldn't have fucking got out of my bed to see a Doctor Strange film. I had no idea who Doctor Strange was. Neither did you when you were a wee guy.
No.
You know what I mean? Fucking. That's the weird thing about the whole Marvel thing is that nobody gave a fuck about Iron Man until Robert Downey Jr. turned up. They didn't.
What do you mean? Maybe some
people were into comics.
I don't know.
Did.
What was the run? Do you know what the runs were like? What was the biggest characters? No.
I mean, there wasn't like Iron Man was one of the biggest Marvel characters, no chance. I mean, what, behind Spider-Man, behind Hulk, behind Thor, I would even say probably. I don't know, I'm probably maybe I'm wrong, but he's not 80. He was never 80.
Was he not?
I wouldn't say so.
Outside of the
When I was a
things
wee
that-
guy and I was watching Marvel things, it was all Spider-Man, even X-Men. I'd heard of like Iron Man. I can't remember watching that much Iron Man stuff or being that aware of Iron Man and Tony Stark. And that was all him. I think that's what they're starting to realise now, Marvel, is I think they're maybe going, oh fuck, maybe it wasn't our cinematic universe that people like, maybe they just like Robert Downey Jr.
Did you like the Marvel films?
I mean, I like there's a number of them I do like, and it was quite exciting that things were connected because it was a kind of new thing. Now everything's connected, so it's like
I can't go the CGI still. I just go blank kind of on the CGI on screen, which is a problem in these films.
Spider-Man 2 is still my, obviously it's no a Marvel Cinematic Universe film, but it's still my favourite superhero film.
I'm always having no really arguments because it's mainly him that's raging when I'm talking about the boy that I care for sometimes because he likes the modern Batman films and I'm trying to explain to him that he's wrong to think that.
Do you mean the Robert Pattinson one or do you mean Christian Bale?
Bale,
Right.
Nolan's films. And he kind of is quite dismissive. Actually, he's less dismissive now because he saw the original Batman, the 1988 one, in the cinema. So he has a wee bit more appreciation for it, but I think it's night and day. I suppose it depends what type of film you. I mean, that's what I always say about Nolan films. It depends what type of film you like, I suppose.
Aye.
If you like kind of really clinical.
I mean, I liked The Dark Knight. I liked
What one was that?
the Heath Ledger one.
Aye, I like bits.
I like that. But it's too long. They're too long.
All his films are too long.
But
Have you seen Oppenheimer?
I've not seen Oppenheimer.
I left.
Did you?
And everybody else that I've spoken to about it loved it. And every reviewer that I've heard talking about it loved it.
I'm funny with Nolan films because some I like and some I don't. I think I like all the wrong ones. I like The Prestige, and I like. I like Memento's all right. I wasn't mad on Memento. I really liked Dunkirk. I really liked Dunkirk, and I genuinely think Tenet is one of the worst films ever made.
I couldn't get through it.
And it's no because I'm confused or anything, I'm just because I was just hooting my laughter all the time, buildings unexploding and all that. It was just, you know. But
so
also a wee bit of me kind of goes, fucking good on him, man, for making such mental stuff.
If he's doing what he wants to do, then fair enough. It's just I can't be bothered watching it.
I'll see Oppenheimer at some point.
Did you like Interstellar?
Never seen it.
I feel like it should be a stick-on like for me because I like sci-fi so much, but I don't like that either.
Have you seen Ad Astra, the Brad Pitt?
Aye.
I don't really like that either.
It was alright. That's a good example of like it wasn't that great, but it was sci-fi and it was kind of bleak, so I was like, no, I'll watch it, I like it.
Yeah.
But
I didn't quite go where I wanted it to go. I wanted it to. I think you kind of right what you're saying about how it did feel like a kind of sci-fi novel that you would read, and it's quite cerebral. But I was kind of just wanting to maybe push a few more emotional buttons towards them that didn't really do that. Quite restrained, but I didn't. Yeah, I was hoping for better for it. Brad Pitt was good in it.
I liked a lot of it. Visually, the film's really cool. I still find it uncomfortable to think about the rooms that they put you in to make you try and calm down, with like sheets put up with nature being projected on it. Fucking claustrophobic.
I like a cerebral sci-fi, but I like the emotional buttons getting pushed as well. You know what I mean? I love what's it called? Arrival. Because it goes for that.
It's so bleak.
Yeah, it's really bleak.
I need to take a run up to watch it.
I really like Oblivion, the Tom Cruise film.
I like it as well. Which is unusual because I don't really like him that much anymore. I should probably get a drink in a second.
What you want? I'll get you some.
No, I'll get it. I've got a bunch of. Do you want anything else?
No, I'm good.
What is it?
Just a cranberry soda water.
Bloody West End.
How much was that?
£4.
£3.50 for cranberry and soda.
£4 and 8p for a beer. An Italian beer. I think all the other conversations I recorded, we were walking about. The fucking editing, the sound in it was just
It's a nightmare.
horrible.
The thing about editing a podcast thing, I read it in audio, is that you can't rush through it, you need to listen to it.
I know.
Any shortcuts.
I know.
But Martin Scorsese I read an interview with Martin Scorsese and he was talking about this Killers of the Flower Moon, and he was like, you know, when you're editing it and stuff, you need to watch it, and he was like, there's fucking 3 hours and 3.5 hours long. He was saying, he's a fucking director. He was like, it's 3.5 hours long, and I was sitting going, I've got fucking time to sit and watch this.
That last gangster film he made for Netflix felt like he had no attitude making it.
I haven't seen that either.
Nah, forget it. Yeah, well, I watched Taxi Driver like a week ago. Amazing.
That's it looks
It's
like
like-
Killers of the Flower Moon.
It's got that. He's still at that age where he's wanting to impress people. He's like, look at what I can do. That's brilliant. Taxi Driver.
It's got a good cold-keyed energy about it as well. Which obviously he's not doing when he's 80. But he's still ridiculous. When I was reading that interview with him, still ridiculous. You're reading his like 13 nominations or something for an Oscar and he's only won one. It's fucking, I guess something's went wrong. This guy's only won one Oscar. So do you ask questions? Is that the...
I've got questions. I'm trying to figure out how to keep my screen on my phone. It's meant to be about life and stuff, but I've just been talking about Marvel films.
Marvel? Well, that is life, isn't it?
Been listening to Kurt Angle talking. He's been doing the rounds on the podcasts. And I never
Fucking
even
humble
realised
guy, modest, humble guy.
is that.
No, I'm being
No,
serious. I'm being serious.
I think he's been.
Considering he's one of the greatest of all time.
Aye. But I never realised how many problems he's had, so I think he's been humbled by life. I think.
That's a shame.
I had no idea. Like through all the period that we were watching as well, like his biggest stardom period, he was all over the place.
Yeah.
He was talking about how many painkillers he was taking. He was prescribed to be taking 4 Vicodin a day, or a different type of Vicodin, the same sort of stuff. Luckily, he had his problem before, like Oxycontin and stuff like that.
Aye.
Oxy, whatever they're called, they're called just now. But he was prescribed 4 and he was taking 60 a day.
He would have been a goner if he was doing that stuff, and
I know, that's what I mean, that stuff's still strong.
he was the fucking best, man.
He was really good. He was talking about how nervous he was when he was starting things. He hadn't basically hadn't done any pro wrestling before, so he's learning everything as he goes. But it was like 3 months before it took him to like progress for like the lowest to the. He's basically main event most weeks. Vince is telling him to do a promo, and he's like, "How do you do that?"
He was a natural, though. Simple as that.
The comedy stuff was Stone Cold. It's just magic. So we actually covered Are You Optimistic Now or No? Do you shield that for the wins?
What do you mean optimistic in general, do you? Or about the future of the planet?
I don't think I'm actually as worried about the planet, but I think as far as this species goes, forget it.
Aye, no, I definitely think that, but I still don't think. I keep in touch with. I don't keep in touch with a few scientists, like I'm fucking writing letters to them, but I
read
kind
their
of
tweets?
I kind of keep an eye on what they're saying about things, and all that. And there are even within that kind of community, there are extremes. There are people saying
This is the
we've
vague.
got 20 years.
This is vague.
I know. We've got 20 years. Some people are saying, and I don't believe that, but
It just doesn't help that when you see the American presidential campaigns are kicking up again and you hear the Republicans, the things they're saying, and it's like
Aye.
climate science is a hoax, made up by anti-capitalists, conspiracy theorists. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my god.
I think the problem is more with people than it is with governments, if I'm being honest.
What do you mean by that?
I think, certainly in Western society, I think we are so apathetic now that we won't protest anything. You look at it on a kind of small scale, and you look at what happened at the time of the pandemic. When all that came out about them having their parties and all that while everything was going on, it's like the thought that government should still be in. The thought that people wouldn't just went to number 10 and dragged them out the building is just...
I'm addicted to these BBC archive videos. There's a BBC archive YouTube channel. They keep putting clips up, and there's a clip. I feel like 1982 or something. There's like an old steel mill factory in the north of England, and it's like 20 guys who work in the factory. This is what the clip is basically. It's just them kind of on their breaks talking about the problems that the youth are facing, the problems that they're facing, and what they're going to do about it in the community. And like, it's the way they're talking about it is that they're engaged with what's happening.
Aye.
They're talking about what they can do about it, and that
Action instead of...
They feel as if they have the power to influence the
I mean,
situation.
You can see it by the way even people respond to people who are taking action. It's like people worrying about, they've ruined a day at Wimbledon by Just Stop Oil throwing some orange powder. They've ruined it. Like, fuck Wimbledon. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's completely demented that you see people criticising people that are protesting this stuff. It's like people have forgotten that protest is what you're actually supposed to be doing. It's like, I'm not fucking protesting either, but...
why do you think that is, though?
Why am I not at protest?
No, why do you think that people also apathetic? I think it's because it's so self-absorbed and placated.
See, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that people are self-absorbed and placated. I think people are defeated. I think people are genuinely feel defeated, and I think that the only way that people feel they can express their anger is by kind of engaging in online chat and presenting their rage in that way, whereas in the past people would present their rage in a different way. You could see the turning point, I think, like maybe 10, I can't remember how many years ago it was, but when there was the riots down in London, and just the way people online were reacting to them, like riots were a bad thing. I'm not saying riots are not a bad thing, but I'm saying that riots...
That's England though, that's an England thing as well. And I've ran that opinion many times past my girlfriend, and I don't think it is a controversial or racist opinion or anything like that. Especially the further south you go in England, like property and ownership, it's like it's in their DNA.
But at least they have riots in England though. Like
the poor ones do, that don't have any.
When did we ever riot? When have we ever rioted, or when have we ever? I think Scotland Scotland are a nation of conquered people in a sense anyway, you know what I mean? So it's like people, we should be looking at what's going on now, and Rishi Sunak coming out and saying, right, well, we're not actually going to hit these targets for climate and stuff like that, we're not going to do that. People should just be fucking going, I'm not paying my taxes, I'm not engaging in this, I'm not doing it, take us out. They should be, but they won't. Everybody's so frightened as well, everybody's just so frightened. So I think people are defeated and frightened more than apathetic, which I think is worse. I think it's worse that people...
Mind that there was this idea when the internet was like spreading, like online behaviour was kind of spreading, there was this idea that things were really going to improve. It was going to move away from things like the fear-mongering that could be achieved by like legacy media. I learned that term for succession.
Aye.
And now look what we've done.
Well, this is the problem. The problem is the only people that are talking about this stuff are right-wingers. The only people that are talking about, like, there is a genuine truth in the fact that free speech is...
Just a bit bad.
No, well, kinda, a wee bit, because obviously that's his fallback now, right, is that. And the frustrating thing is that there is an element of truth about it. And not just an element of truth about it, it is true. It's like you're saying about when they started the internet, as we remember the internet used to be. Anybody could set up a website and anybody could say anything on their websites, you know what I mean? And people, a lie was sold to us that was like, what's like the fucking Wild West out there. You can't let people just go and say anything and put any pictures up, so we need to so everything's all centralised and focused. Now the internet is what? Twitter, Facebook, and it's like 4 things. It's like, you know what I mean? And you're not allowed to say any of that stuff. Everybody's too frightened to say anything. Even offending people used to be almost like, at the start of the internet, that was what all the discourse was. It was like trying to shock each other and stuff like that, because that's actually how people...
See some of the things that I said on Twitter in the early days. Shameful behaviour.
But I would suggest to you that it isn't actually shameful behaviour. It's a mere honest reflection of what human discourse actually is naturally within you. You wouldn't have been saying anything on Twitter that you wouldn't have said in a room to your pal to shock him and make him laugh.
No, that's true. That's true.
So it's actually a more honest reflection. And now on Twitter, you go and look on Twitter, and we're all like these fucking weird Puritans who are like.
I don't even know. I honestly don't even know.
Yeah, it's. I mean, then.
I find I'm away from it so long now that when I do look at it, I find it just kind of eerie, the way that people are interacting with each other, and the way they're all. Nobody's recognising that they're also addicted to it as well.
Well, like 100%. It's like, you know, that's the major part of some of the problems of some people's behaviour. They dress it up as something else, but what it actually is just they're addicted to social media. But also, an argument about AI. You know, how will we know if something's been written by AI or something's? Here's a thought for you. People haven't realised that they're the fucking AI now. They're the fucking artificial intelligence online, because I do genuinely think the version of themselves that people put forward now online is not an honest reflection of who they are. People are actually behaving.
Oh, definitely.
People are behaving within an algorithm that they've been programmed to respond to. People are behaving within that. So it's like, it's just an absolute truth. I think that if anybody actually presented themselves as they really were, or presented their real thoughts as they really think them online, the vast majority of people wouldn't pass the fucking sniff test.
I get banned twice.
Well, you know, this is it. It's just. But anyway, I think like that's almost a side issue, or the social media stuff. I think that's just. You're asking if I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic. I feel quite optimistic sometimes when I see how Hope, for example, who's 16 now, how she views social media is different from
How much does she use it?
Like barely at all. Barely at all uses it. She kind of speaks to just her own circle of friends on WhatsApp, and she'll use Snapchat and TikTok, but it's almost like within her own circle of friends. There isn't that same level of
broadcasting.
Yeah, broadcasting out to people, and also like trying to catch the attention of people who were, because that's where a lot of this problem has came from, is when social media, when Twitter first started, there was famous people on it, and people were like trying to catch the attention of famous people and trying to, like, you know what I mean, tailor themselves to and it's, you know, that's just an understandable human reaction, because it was like a new thing. It was like crazy that you suddenly had access to all these people you didn't have access to before. But I think that
I'm thinking about how excited I was at the time, how pathetic it was how excited I was that I would occasionally get a reply from Charlie Brooker when I was doing my fucking whinge on Twitter.
But it wasn't pathetic though. It's like a total. That's a total human reaction to what was at the time a really bizarre and really new thing. But I think that if there's anything we should have learned now, is that world is not real. It's no real. And, you know, and even the people who, like, nothing moves really from Twitter to the real world. I think there's no back and forth really in any real sense for that. But I think while all that's been going on, and we've all been so fascinated with what's been going on our fucking phones, that's been one of the problems why people are distracted as well. It's not just being defeated, people are distracted.
It's been a valuable, not to go all conspiracy theorists, but it has been a valuable tool. It's been addiction to phones for certain influential parties of the world.
No, you're right. I certainly haven't like communicated to the Waynes like probably mankind will die out in the next you know.
You're going to see some shit in your lifetime.
But I mean, if there's anything I have learned, I feel like it's impossible. You can't predict. You can't predict anything. You know what I mean? I would never have predicted. I know that the fucking pandemic scientists would have predicted the pandemic because they were saying it was coming for years and years, right? They would have predicted it. But I think your average punter can't predict the path that the world is going to go on. You know what I mean?
But this is like,
you can project.
I don't think these are events, though. I think this is a trajectory thing. I saw a 60 Minutes interview with Prince for like 1995 kind of area, and that's the word he used. He said that our trajectory isn't good. And he was talking about that.
His trajectory certainly isn't it?
No.
His trajectory is worse than most. But no, the trajectory isn't good. But you could argue the trajectory hasn't been good for thousands of years. When was the trajectory ever good?
I know we've never been in the position of doing the damage that we've been doing as globally.
But we're only doing the damage to us, though. It's like, you know, this
Have you
is
seen that documentary about the whales on BBC?
no,
The Witness is a Whale.
no.
Watch that will change it.
We're damaging the whales as well.
It's basically about these Soviet commanders when the territories were retreating. The Soviet Union was basically shrinking. These Soviet commanders gave the order to wipe out any kind of resources as they saw them. So, like tens, hundreds of thousands of whales were all entire species of whales were just wiped out of this area. And it's just they film it in the documentary, it's the wasteland. Because when you think about it, when whales die naturally, they fall into the ocean and like hundreds of thousands of things live after. You cut that out, everything else dies underneath it as well, so the sea's just dead.
Yeah.
So that's what we've been up to. And it doesn't just come back, I don't think. We have this kind of idea of nature being kind of elastic and things will bounce back, but you can't just wipe everything out and then expect it to.
No. But other stuff will come once we're away, you know what I mean? It's like the trajectory just...
Mothman and stuff you're talking about.
The trajectory just isn't good in general, I think. The trajectory of the universe isn't good. The trajectory is not good.
What do we mean not good though? As in it ends?
Yeah.
But how could they have a permanent trajectory? Surely there's an arc to life.
Well, I think you can fit. I think you need to. All you can do in life is find your own peace and your own kind of triumph and your own positive trajectory within it. I think you can't, you can't really concern yourself with the trajectory in general of the world because there is nothing we can fucking do about it. You know what I mean? There's nothing we can do about it. You've got to live your own life, but also it's that thing just about being defeated. It's like you cannot win.
What do you mean you can't win?
You can't win. We're not going to be able to change anybody's mind. Even if we did protest and stuff like that, they would just bring down the might of armies upon you and all like that. It's like, you can't win. There's people talking about like, this is a dystopian society. It's like dystopian. It's like dystopian science fiction. It's always been dystopian.
I would definitely maintain that there's a big difference between Scotland and the rest of the UK.
In what sense?
You can go where you want in Scotland, but you can just point at a place in the countryside and go, I'm going to walk out there. And I think that does something to your stairs. You feel like an ownership of where you are, I think. You don't know.
Like what? Yeah. Where? What do you mean? Like what? Where?
Highlands. In countryside, anyway, you have the right to walk through the country that you belong to. So. But in England, that doesn't exist, and I think that makes a big difference.
Aye. But then does it affect your thinking on that? The fact that a lot of these lands that legally you're allowed to walk across fields and farmland you're allowed to walk across in Scotland are owned by English people.
No.
You know what I mean? So it's like, there's anything wrong with that. But
did you see the mountain bikers that bumped into Prince Charles?
No.
King Charles, sorry, King Charles. Aye, they went mountain biking and he was just out walking by himself. I was like, in my stream, they should have pushed him down that fucking thing. Talking about Scottish people as well, talking about what a nice guy he is and after a 2-minute conversation. What would they expect? I'll have you shot. How dare you look at me?
He was just out by selling security.
I think he had like either end.
Snipers.
They knew, that's what I was thinking that even if he went to push him, he'd probably get one in the head. Do you have any? I've asked if one of them is like about regret. Do you have regrets? Like generally, you don't seem to like hold on to that kind of thing.
Do I have regrets?
They don't plague you anyway. All these questions all kind of lead to me talking about stuff as well. Like it's all kind of things that I'm interested in about myself because I have a lot of regrets. I think I know why a lot of the time.
I do have regrets, but I also have sometimes I wonder if I have a weird way of looking at time or a weird way of looking at It's hard to explain. I think it depends upon how you view your life, and I've always kind of viewed my life as a very kind of brief, short thing. Weirdly, kind of feel weird sometimes when I hear people talking about like, I wish that when I was, back then, if I'd done this, then maybe this would have took a different course or whatever. But it's like all this stuff feels so close together in my head, kind of a wee bit. I've always had that kind of view on stuff and I kind of remember how life felt, that everything was just kind of gone. I would say I've lived my whole life kind of feeling like I'm always kind of running to keep up a wee bit. My life's always felt a bit like that, and so I can't say that there's a great...
Is that because you plan things to happen?
No, probably more because I've been quite impulsive about stuff, and I think because of that, there's not been a huge amount of stuff in my life that's been like premeditated. I'm going to do this. I think maybe you have regrets more often. Maybe if you have a kind of...
Have you never gone into that place then that you've seen me at, where kind of things have stopped, and you feel as if like you've lost all momentum? Have you ever been in that place? Have you always felt kind of propelled through things?
I think the thing about having the wains is that
that's a different... You're living a different life.
Well, this is the thing. Hope's been around now for almost 17 years. Hope's been around. So for that 17 years, like, for 17 years of my life, like, genuinely, you don't really think about yourself as much as you maybe once did. So I think any of that kind of stuff would have been more... I would have the periods where I feel like everything's at a standstill, nothing's changing in my relationship, nothing's changing in my career, and you would kind of panic a wee bit. But even that, you look back to it and you think, what was I panicking about? Because it's like, things don't need to change. Do you know what I mean? But I think it's like when you have the wains, suddenly it's almost like you don't really... you don't have the time, and you're also kind of, I suppose, viewing things through their lens a wee bit, so there's not really been that. And I've just always felt a real kind of forward momentum, or a kind of rush or a panic. I think having older parents as well did that for me, because if I was a wee guy, I was like, my man and dad will die soon. Even though it wasn't true when I was a wee guy, just because they were older, I thought they'll be dead soon. Right. So I need to soak everything up, and I need to so I was always going like that. And then that, and then the Wayne, by the time my parents died, I had a Wayne by that point, and then it's like, and then you're off on that, you know what I mean? And then it's like meeting Jen, and then having, a new after kids and stuff. So it's all, everything's felt really... I've not had very many periods of like... sometimes I'll talk to people and they'll say things like, I remember for a year I was living in a flat in London, and I was just, and I've never had an experience like that. I've never had an experience where I've been myself for an extended period of time. And I mean never had a period where I've been myself for an extended period of time. So I've not really had a huge amount of time for a lot of self-reflection. I don't really enjoy my own company. I don't really like being around myself or thinking about that. So probably a lot of stuff I haven't super processed. I know there's a load of stuff that I haven't, like when my parents' deaths and stuff like that, I just kind of don't think about them. There's a lot of stuff I just don't... I don't think about my parents, but I don't think about their death and don't... So there's a lot of stuff I've not processed. So I think regrets... There are some stuff I wish I'd done better, handled differently, definitely. I was more mature, or that doesn't matter. Like, why did I bother about that? Or why did I do that? There's day things. But certainly not anything I beat myself up about, really, because...
Have you fallen out with many people in your time?
No.
Because my worst regrets all come for that kind of stuff, and that's something that I've seen happen where you've done it.
We had that kind of frozen out period.
Everybody I know, actually, when I go through, I'm like, this has happened to like basically every pal I've ever had.
But it's weird though, because that was an odd one, because it didn't really feel super like a falling out either. It just felt like a weird kind of, we've frozen each other out, we're not communicating really, and it was just an odd... I think that's how guys date a lot of the time. A lot of the time guys date like that. But no, I can't say I don't think I've got like that many people have fell out with, really. There's a lot of stuff handled differently with Michael and stuff like that back in the day. And even that, like, when I think back, that's what exactly were we like, genuinely sometimes I'm like, what exactly were we arguing about either? You know what I mean? It's like,
I think it is like when I picture some of the scenes of us like arguing about the type of stuff that we were arguing about, like the Consulvania and stuff. Is that when around about when you kind of stopped talking?
I think so.
Because it hasn't even actually been that. I have a habit of going through emails every now and again just to check like what are my oldest emails, and some of my oldest emails is when I run about when we started dating Consulvania, is when I started regularly using email. And I've got emails for
emails for back then?
I've got emails about us trying to kind of sort things out before making video guiding, because we fell out right before that. About stuff, trying to figure stuff out with Michael as well. But I didn't talk to Michael for years and kind of made a few attempts to get back to him, but I'm still. So I've read them no too long ago, but it just looks like kind of underdeveloped wee egos is what it looks like. And
I think I think that's probably what it was, and I think it was also, I think it's just I think guys are bad at communicating, and I think we were never fighters either. Any of us were ever fighters, and sometimes I think to myself, see, I bet you if one is just battered the other one, if we just had a proper, do you know what I mean? You know, you hear about guys are like brothers or whatever, and they have blow-ups and they fight and all that and batter each other, and then they get it all out and then it's like done. And I think just because we were never like that, it probably didn't help. But it was kind of, you know, I'm looking back, it wasn't anything major. It wasn't anything. And then I think weirdly, I think we all had quite similar personalities, in that we were all quite introverted guys who suddenly had to pretend they weren't.
Aye.
Which is difficult, I think, you know what I mean? And probably like, you know, things being there's people interested in what we're doing, and then you're kind of like, it's almost like a fear comes with that as well, you know what I mean? And
pretty sure I acted like a fanny, like to many people, just out of I don't know, no bravado, but I don't know, some kind of performance or something.
But we 1,000,000% though, it's like when you look back, I'm saying this like 1,000,000 fucking percent, compared to other guys of our generation, we're like fucking angels the way we behaved. I'm telling you 100 fucking million%, when we think back about we treated people badly, or we did this, or we fell out and we did this and all that, compared to other guys of our generation and the things that they must have in their fucking backlog, it's like we can't beat ourselves up for how we behave, because our arguments were well, our arguments were petty, and I don't think we treated anybody that badly, really, did we?
I'm pretty sure I did. I'm pretty sure it was just a bit of a prick sometimes.
But being a bit of a prick for guys your generation is good. I think, you know what I mean, as a step up. Everybody's a bit of a prick, particularly. It's like this was when we were in our 20s as well, and I think perceptions have changed now as well. I think now when people are in their 20s, people kind of go, oh, they're just in their 20s. Like, they're young, you know what I mean? When we were in our 20s back then, you weren't young. You weren't perceived as young. Do you know what I mean? You were meant to be more fucking mature and all that. Now you get away with it. You know, now you can get away with, I spent my 20s fucking up and all that. But it wasn't like that for us back then. You know what I mean? You couldn't spend your 20s fucking up. It's like, you're in your fucking 20s.
I did though.
You know, I know, but felt bad about it. Whereas now it's like, that's what your 20s are for.
I mean, you might as well. The planet's on the blink. You might as well. Do you have any like calamitous, mortifying memories? Do you remember me the few days after Owen Hart died, falling off the ring? We went into Forbidden Planet. No?
No, what happened?
They were in the back talking about, and you mind it used to be older comics at the back,
A day, yeah.
The shopkeeper
yeah,
guy was talking to another guy about somebody. I can't remember what the words that they used, but they were talking about somebody dying who had some sort of accident. And in my head, all
You thought it was Owen Hart?
all I'm thinking about is Owen Hart.
They have a memory of this
And
actually.
I joined,
You joined in the
I joined in the conversation. It went, apparently, I think he was dead as soon as he hit the turnbuckle. And they just looked at me and they were talking about their pal.
He was dead as soon as he hit the turnbuckle. Oh fuck man, that's good.
Getting like that, remember anything like that. I can't believe that still plays.
Do you have
I have a more recent one as well. Did I tell you the full thing about what happened on the sports scene when I went to the sports scene?
No.
Because they do sports scene. They do sports scene in a different editing software. BBC uses Avid, it always uses Avid, and I don't use Avid, I use Premiere. And I'd been in, and I knew this in advance, I'd been into Shadow, I just went, I think I fancy my chances.
Aye.
So I went in, and like, everybody's fucking stressed out their nut because everything's happening live, so they're cutting the games live as it happens. There's no that, like, if you knew, but if I was doing it in Premiere, it'd be a different story.
Aye.
But because it was in Avid, and I didn't know where the buttons were, like 10 minutes into the match, I'm like, I literally can't fucking do this, I can't keep up with this.
Oh my God.
Because the producer's sending me the notes, like the clips to take out, and I'm like dragging and dropping and stuff, but individual things that I can't find them, I don't know where they are. So I just said to the guy, I can't do it. But as luck would have it, probably wasn't luck, probably the way they booked it, but the producer guy also knew how to edit.
Right.
But I sat there for like 3:15 in the afternoon until like 10 o'clock at night while he did his job and my job at the same time.
Oh.
And it was bad. It was a bad one.
What did you have to do in that period of time? Just like chat to him, or
I was just kind of chatting occasionally and watching the film.
was he saying do this blah blah blah? Was he kind of showing you? No, just doing it.
No, he just plugged his laptop in and started doing it. That's the worst day in the job I've ever had.
Do you have anything like that? Let me think. Anything that was absolutely mortifying? I mean, probably, but I've always been quite good at protecting, trying to protect myself from mortifying situations. I can't really remember anything in particular. I feel embarrassed quite a lot by stuff and interactions with people, and I just wasn't in that. I've just never been in that many situations, if you know what I mean. I've not travelled many places. I wasn't going out a lot or anything when I was younger or anything. So it was limited amount. My world's always been quite small, I would say.
I feel the same.
My whole life, my world's been quite small. So and I wouldn't feel mortified saying something in front of like somebody that I knew. I don't think if there's anything. Can I really think anything? Off the top of my head.
Nothing in school. You managed to get all the way through school without something embarrassing happening.
Let me think. What in school? Genuinely can't think. Was there anything at uni? Was there anything at college when we were at fucking, it seems, sometimes I think about that period where we were at college together and it feels like something that didn't happen or something. It was like a weird...
How so? How do you mean?
Just because it was like a short period and it was surreal and it was like the people, just fucking odd people we were at college with as well. It almost feels like it was like a telly programme I watched or something, more than it felt like
I know what you mean.
more than it felt like a thing.
It was an earlier version of us, wasn't it?
Aye. But we
It ended
were
bad
dicks. We thought we were fucking
Aye, well, I mean,
superior to everybody we did.
I get chopped up.
And we did, we were fully ourselves on that college course.
Yeah.
And that was probably, that whole thing was fucking mortifying. I probably blanked it in my head actually, because when I think back to that, maybe I was a wee dick when I was there at college, I think maybe. I'll tell you what was fucking mortifying, mate. I'll tell you what was mortifying, mate. When we were at college and we went to make that film and we had no fucking batteries for the camera.
No, we did actually have the batteries, but I think the batteries said that they were faulty or something. So I took them back. Like, I took them back in a really shit mood, and tell like Dave and Adel.
Oh, that's right.
Techie Dave
At the end of the day, these on the working, and just something we'd done right.
No, it was just a sticker. The batteries were fine. We just didn't bother even testing them.
Yeah, but the mortifying thing was the fact that we shot the scenes. No, we didn't tell the actors.
Aye.
And we just fucking made the thing without the camera working, and just pretended. We spent like fucking 3 years pretending we were filming. That was one of the most fucking mortifying days.
That was an eye opener.
That was a fucking ego puncture that day.
I think the footage looked fucking terrible as well.
Oh, fuck me, man.
All the lighting was shite and all that. And that lassie was like chalk. She had skin like chalk. She was like a ghost.
And we went and we thought we were fucking so hot shit, and we went out and we filmed all the stuff. And I remember that, like, coming back and looking at it and it being like way worse than all the stuff we laughed at. Like, way worse than all the stuff we laughed at. It was just fucking terrible. Aye, that was a blow. Aye.
Do you remember?
Still a laugh though.
Do you remember phoning on the Sabbath? You don't even remember that.
I remember stoning me. Do you remember me getting hit with stones?
For her?
Aye, because I asked her a question about why. I was like, why do you want to train with AK-47s? That was what I asked her. Which I stand by was an innocent question when I was getting. No, I mean, all of that whole period was embarrassing, I think. Because did I get flung out or did I leave?
No, you just left.
I just left.
I think you left, if memory serves, you left, and then you went back one morning to sign your bursary. So you would get your bursary, and then you left again.
Did you not get paid twice? Did you get a double bursary once? You sure? Was it me that got a double bursary? I feel I've always been quite lucky with stuff like that. Do you not remember how we used to go to comic shops or whatever, and I would always find something amazing?
You remember we went to the draw to see who would get an Xbox 360, because they had like 3 Xbox 360s and there were fucking 100 people. Of course you go for.
Well, I was talking about that just a couple of weeks ago actually, because I was having a conversation about raffles. And so, have you ever won a raffle? And I was like, I did actually. I won a raffle once, and my prize was I could spend £400 on a fucking Xbox. Ridiculous.
You got a good 18 months ago before it fucking went.
Aye, true. Was that the Xbox 360? It was, right? It was the Xbox 360.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, what were the launch games? Do you remember what I came home with that night? I brought it back to yours, didn't I?
No, I don't think
No, that night. We went together though, didn't we?
Aye, we went together.
Why would we not brought it back? Because do you remember we went to the launch event? We were at that launch event in the Lighthouse.
Aye, that was through Video Guide, wasn't it?
Aye, something like that.
Aye.
It was something.
I hate these things, are so good.
Remember the guys came to do the feature on us for that
Aye.
online channel?
I nearly
That
had
was
his
quite
name
mortifying
there.
as well.
What's his name?
He messaged me recently.
Did he?
But that was quite mortifying as well, because we had to. It was one of the moments where it was like, oh Jesus, where we live is a dump. was my thought. I was like, oh, they think this is like them coming to the Bronx, man. It's like them coming to Elliot Kidner.
Elliot, that was his name.
He messaged me, really nice guy.
Saying what?
He was just saying, look at the trams. No, just saying, I can't remember
I think we
what
asked him to stay for a curry, if I remember right.
he said, let's stay, we'll phone a curry in, and I was like, no,
I
we better
remember
go
saying he
back.
wasn't well or something. To go. Alright, fair enough. I want to ask you how you've been. How have you been?
I've been alright actually, I've been pretty good. I have, no, I've been good. I'm trying to, I think one of the things about being, I worry less about stuff. I maybe just have another cranberry and soda. I worry less about stuff now, I would say, because I'm just kind of like, everything's alright, everybody's healthy, the family, what else, nothing else matters. Really, all the stuff I used to worry about, I don't worry about anymore.
I do that way. I shouldn't be doing this well now. I'm able to do that a wee bit better these days with like stresses, things I'm stressed about, because I stress about everything anyway. That's just how I engage with dating stuff. It seems sometimes it's just stressing, but I'm getting better now at going, it isn't happening now, like right now, right here and now. That's it. Well, that's another.
I'd do another way of looking at it as well. I'd do go see. No matter what happens, tomorrow morning this will be done. I'll be in tomorrow morning, and it'll be behind me. Whatever this is, so what's the fucking like time's just going to take me there anyway. So it's like why even? So it's just that thing of trying to float through the days. Do you know what I mean? Which I'm getting better at. I'm definitely getting better at floating through the days.
I've ended up in this place with meditation where sometimes it feels like I'm just an observer, if you know what I mean. Definitely seem to be making choices, but I feel
An observer of the simulation, you mean?
aye, sort of, kind of. It's just a projection. Cranberry soda?
Yeah, thank you.
I like coffee.
Oh, nice.
Do you think your life now bears any resemblance to the one? Did you imagine a life when you were young? Or the things that you were wanting to?
So they announced yesterday that Moonlighting, Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd, Moonlighting, the detective show, is coming on to streaming services for the first time. And so I was thinking about Moonlighting yesterday, and I was thinking about that was definitely kind of what I thought that was
Your life was going to be. Are you Sybil Shepherd?
my idealised vision of what adult life would be like, and what your life could be like, kind of glamorous and wealth and penthouse suite like up Utopia, a big tower block and stuff like that. So I kind of, when I was a wee guy, I was like, oh, that would be brilliant. I would love to be like that, do that.
When I think about shows that made me think about love, Northern Exposure. Well, that's it. There you go.
No, as well. Bit of tablet as well there. We've got nice. But my life is good. My life is like, obviously I'm not living in a penthouse suite in New York City, but I did manage to be in a penthouse suite in January in a nice flat in New York for a few days, and I was amazing being able to do that. And no, I wouldn't. No, I'm really happy where I am. I'm kind of looking at Jen's been kind of looking, as always, kind of looking at other houses because she would like a wee bit of land around the house that she can do a flower farm stuff with, which would be kind of ideal. But we kind of love where we live so much. It's like it's difficult to. It would need to be somewhere amazing, you know what I mean? That would move. And I think if we moved, we wouldn't move into the city. We'd move further away, probably near into the countryside. Well, a wee bit further away for the nukes, maybe, and somewhere up a hill where we can defend ourselves from the marauders.
That's what I'm going. I'm going into forests. I think maybe cabins and forests.
Well,
I can lay traps.
I genuinely said that to Jen like a few weeks ago. I said maybe we should think about getting some kind of homestead farm type place that we can be self-sustainable and more, you know what I mean? Just because, you know, that's one of the things. It's like kind of hot.
Were you not talking about going to Mexico or something when you were older?
Aye.
At one point, you still think you can get somewhere?
I don't know. We'll definitely try and travel a lot if that's still a thing. I don't know.
Oh, you wouldn't live in a country like that?
Like, possibly. It would depend. It's like, sometimes I think, though, it's like, by the time the wains are up, by the time the wains are like 18, 20 or whatever, I'm going to be like in my 60s. Do you know what I mean? Is that still time, innit?
60s isn't that old. Not as old as it used to be.
It's not as old as it used to be. Aye, you're not really sure.
It's not a better chance to warm the country anyway.
Aye.
That ground floor tenement flat here, and it's brutal in the winter. Like it vents up cold.
Aye.
I feel it in my old bones. Joints and bones.
You're getting a wood burning thing put in.
The living room?
Aye, because the living room is just so fucking freezing. That's called. The heating bills are fucking mental as well, like in mental heating bills.
But you just can't. It's like the Waynes. You can't be like that to Waynes. Put a jumper on. You just need to fucking gun the heat. I see you're sucking your tablet there. That's an interesting.
I want it for last. I've also got this thing now about biting into sugary things and really cautious about my teeth. So I think I've not been taking good care of them early years.
No, I mean, I was at the dentist yesterday, and I knew the dentist. It's suddenly really loud. We could move somewhere after your coffee. I knew the dentist kind of wanted to say "fuck's sake, mate" to me yesterday. Do you know what I mean?
Why?
Just because my teeth. I'd even like it was work I was meant to get.
Good teeth, you know.
No, at the back. I got ones missing and all that stuff all. He's like, we'll pull them out, and then he says, we'll just put a bridge in. No bother. In fact, he genuinely went, we can fix everything. They can these days, you know what I mean?
Cost you a lot.
Cost you.
I got a temporary bridge put in my teeth. Like 4 or 5 times I put it and I just kept falling out.
Really?
It's no use. No use.
Is that one of the ones that's like, well, that's what a bridge is, thing that either side supports it?
That's an actual bridge as they'll cut into either tooth.
Aye.
To support the bridge, but a temporary one they glue it to the side so it has like an arm that they glue onto the tooth, but it's useless.
Why did they not change the temporary into a permanent?
Because they need to damage the teeth either side, and they said they didn't really want to do that.
Right.
I'm going to need to do something because I've now got a tooth missing on every side.
You worry about choking?
What do you mean?
When you...
In my sleep sort of thing?
when you've got things like temporary bridges in and that, do you worry about them?
Sorry, can I just grab this?
Yeah, sure.
No, I'd not thought about it before, but thanks for bringing it up, because now I can think about that.
Yeah. I think about choking quite a lot.
I bought some DIY filling stuff off of Amazon. You make your own kind of mould, put it in yourself, but I falls out all the time. Shite.
You bought filling stuff off of Amazon, that's fucking mental. That's dystopian stuff.
Because I'm still registered up at my sister's dentist, and they don't have a dentist because they can't get somebody to Vermont, and I can't get registered anywhere on the south side because apparently you can't do that anymore. So I'm stuck with my own fillings. This is the dystopian world. We're living in.
It is. Do you not remember though? I can distinctly remember though in the past Pound Stretcher were sending Pound Stretcher in Springburn Shopping Centre was selling
Where I used to work.
dentist kits, and it was like a fucking drill and everything.
Jesus.
Genuinely had a drill.
Batteries are plugged into the wall.
Plug in it. And a guidebook. It was like a guidebook and a drill, and there was like all these different tools and that. And I remember seeing it, I was like, what the fuck, man? Who would use that? But then probably people did. When was the last time you were in Springburn Shopping Centre?
I can't exactly remember. I've used the toilet a couple of times because this toilet's still open. It used to be up until about a year ago. Not that long ago. There's virtually nothing in it. There was some artists.
Yeah, I saw
in the
that.
Bank of Springburn. I think that's coming back, but I didn't get to see that.
I'm going to take the Waynes. I'm going to take the Waynes. The Waynes need to go and see where their dad grew up. So, Springburn Park, Springburn Shopping Centre, the railway. I think of where else you would go.
5-star in one.
5. Star's still there, isn't it?
It is, aye. Where the Broomfield Tavern used to be, there's new shops.
Right.
A pharmacy and a barber's. What's the deal with these Turkish barbers? What's going on? What are they up to?
I don't know.
They're everywhere.
Is that
And they've never got anybody in.
is that racist in itself? What you said there?
It's provable.
Just an observation.
When I was looking at flats in Alexandria, you know what that is, like the Alexandria
Bala.
next to Bala. There's a street with like 3 Turkish barbers on it, and there's only like 50 people living in Alexandria.
I don't know.
Anyway, maybe it has any other racist. Did you see the big Microsoft leak?
I did, didn't they? They're just bastards, aren't they?
Microsoft are bastards.
Just by just the way they were talking about acquiring things, no, just bastards. And they've been fucking rotten as well. Like the Xbox has been rotten this generation. Shite. I know Game Pass is good and all that, and it is good, but it's been fucking rotten. Halo was a disaster. It was good, but it was a disaster.
How do you mean a disaster? What, sold? Probably, or...
Well, no, they brought it out, and then remember they brought out the multiplayer first, and then they were like, we don't have the campaign yet, and then they brought out the campaign. The campaign was alright, but then I didn't play the campaign because they were like, the co-op campaign mode is coming later, and then they were like, we're not doing the co-op campaign mode anymore. You know what I mean? It was just a fucking disaster.
It didn't really last long, now that you mentioned it, actually. You expect that game in that budget to be like a run for like decades. So
Yeah, a disaster. And then, Starfield, disaster.
still not for that. Any games coming out that you're looking forward to?
High loads, but all like just kind of weird, kind of Japanese RPG. I'm looking forward to Super Mario Wonder, and the Princess Peach game looks really good as well. And Nintendo stuff. Always looking forward to Nintendo stuff.
Have you played FC 189?
Aye. It's really good. It's really good. Very chaotic though.
As still no one
It's quite exhilarating when you get ahead of that pack, or that pack of nutters. Feels good. I'm hoping that it does well and that loads of people play it, so they make another game. But I had my PSP plugged into my big telly yesterday,
Alright.
which was
Wild and
which was fun. Cause using that retro tank thing I've got, so I was playing PSP Outrun and Final Fantasy Tactics on the big telly. It's just actually kind of looking at it and going, this is actually fucking really impressive. Do you know what I mean? Good wee machine, PSP.
I'm back on the Amiga stuff again. I'm trying to excuse
Playing your old favourites, or playing anything new, or just like nostalgia.
having a look at new stuff, I don't really go into anything, but I play the old favourites. What are you meant to do though? Because IK Plus is still really, really good to play.
Brilliant.
It's still a brilliant game.
Aye.
Megalomania and not so much Populous 2. Still really good. Really good. Maybe the AI isn't as tricky as you would expect nowadays, but they've all got that thing, that tipping point where things are just like ludicrously hard. But
Aye.
still really, really good games.
Looking forward to Christmas. It's my favourite time of the year, so I'm always looking forward to Christmas. Just the general vibe of it, just the kind of dark and the trees on, and the Waynes are looking forward to Santa coming and the food, and it's just nice. Just a nice. Nobody's chasing you up for anything. Nobody's like asking anything. It's kind of like it's Christmas. You know what I mean? I just like that. I like.
How long can you get out of that though? How long periods can you have that kind of it's Christmas?
A lot. I mean, I want to put the tree up right at the start of December, 1st of December. I want the tree up. Jen would put it up later, but.
Do you find New Year a downer, or do you like it?
Well, no, New Year is a bit of a downer. New Year's a bit of a downer. Particularly because I can remember the way my and dad, like what New Year was like at my mum and dad's, and it was always amazing. There was like loads of people up and loads of family up, and it would go on for. So it'd be Hogmanay, and then everybody would be there the next night, and then sometimes the next night as well. So it was like a big 3-day party. And now everybody's dead and nobody does anything. So it's, nobody that I'm sure maybe some people with their day that thing, but I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I pretty much just started ignoring New Year when I'll just go to bed.
I mean, I've never ever went to like fucking Edinburgh or George Square or I've never done it.
People go up to in Edinburgh because I've had 2 stints of living in Edinburgh. People walk up to Calton Hill, you know that's in Edinburgh, to watch the fireworks. And on New Year's Day, you'll see the trail up to Calton Hill, or like champagne bottles and stuff lining the way.
Jesus. Did you live in Edinburgh again? No. Did you not like it in general?
No, I didn't know. I found it isolating, and I know that I've got a Glaswegian accent, so I should take this with a pinch of salt, but I did find it an unfriendly place. I found it quite like almost daily rudeness you would kind of come across from people in Edinburgh.
I wonder if it's just, I don't know. I like it. I mean, I like Edinburgh. I like going through.
It's alright to visit.
You go through and you're like,
It's a pretty place.
fuck man, it's really beautiful here. Do you know what I mean? But then you'll know, I'm very aware that you'll no seeing real Edinburgh when you're doing that either. You know, you're coming in on the train and you're going to a hotel and you're like, oh, the castle and that, but it's no, that's not where real fucking Edinburgh people are living, you know what I mean?
I'm not sure about Edinburgh, to be honest. Out for the middle anyway, because you can't afford to be in the middle. Plus also, the New Year. Were you with me in 1999? I don't think you were out. I think we maybe saw each other, but I don't think we were together. But that 1999 into 2000 New Year, I got dumped by that lassie Jane that was seen that I worked with in W. Smith.
Oh fuck, was that at the Millennium?
Aye, that was a Millennium New Year. There's another reason why I don't like New Year.
That's right. Oh, that's right.
Most famous person you've ever met?
The most famous person I've met? Who is the most famous person I've met? Well, Prince at that soundcheck thing doesn't really count. Prince at that with Trump, did you say? Prince at that soundcheck thing doesn't really count because that was like a thing you paid for. So even though it's kind of like meeting them, but it's not the same as meeting somebody, if you know what I mean.
Did you shake his arm?
No, but I spoke to him.
Did you?
Aye, there was a wee kind of back and forth. But it was just like a wee event. It was like a wee, yeah. Because he was kind of talking. That's like what I mean. It was no really meeting because he was kind of like talking to everybody as well. Do you know what I mean? He was just doing the kind of thing. But actually meeting.
Did you like one?
The most famous person?
I mean, you've met Ric Flair, for example. haven't you?
Ric Flair.
Is it Ric Flair?
Yeah, it must be Ric Flair.
Aye,
Because he's known all over the world.
Worldwide, he's very, very famous.
Aye, that's Ric Flair then.
Somehow, apparently, he's like still out, like most days, like living like a party life.
Of course it is, aye. I mean, aye.
I suppose it's all he knows now. I heard him telling a story about he was in rehab for the fuck knows how many times. And he found out after being in the rehab place, this sounds so ridiculous, like I don't know how it could be true, but he found out after being in rehab for a couple of weeks, that the doctor who was administering the medication in the rehab centre was also in rehab. So he was a patient in the place where he was being asked to administer everybody's medication.
Fuck. He's some boy. He's lived a life. What about Kanye?
What do you mean?
What's your take on...
Has it done something recently?
No, but I just mean in general.
I think, like he said publicly, he's mentally shaky sometimes, so he's mentally, well, he said he's bipolar, but I think he's also maybe something else as well, but he said things that he shouldn't have said, but he's also a genius.
It's one of the things where it's kind of like... There were two things going on at once, which is we need to be more compassionate about people with mental health issues and support them more, and also Kanye West needs cancelled for saying these fucking insane things. A willful fucking ignorance for people, or a willful like...
I don't live in cancel land, though. I don't accept this language. I don't think like that, and I don't want to be around folk that they think like that.
No.
But does that mean doing the same thing by saying that? What else can you do other than avoid that? You know what I mean? By not engaging in it and just saying I don't want to be around. I suppose that's kind of the same thing as cancel. Is it still?
Well, he lost a lot of, but the truth is, if he was to record an album tomorrow, I think it would do really well. Do you know what I mean? Certainly, I'd be fucking listening. I know he said terrible things, but the guy's no well.
Aye. Was this one Nazi chat?
Aye.
Okay.
But how anybody can listen to him saying these things and also believe is, how you doing, man?
How are you?
I wasn't into the show by the way, just in case you're wondering. I was like, I'm not going to talk to that guy since I said,
I know you did.
I'm coming in Saturday, I think, to see it.
Sorry.
I'll see you later. No worries, man. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Who is that?
Stevie McCall. Of Rushmore fame.
Oh, fuck, aye, right enough. I always wanted to be in one of your fucking plays.
Yep.
Fucking love that film.
So they're doing a play in here now.
Written by?
Played by in a fight.
Written by them.
No, written by a guy called Douglas Maxwell. Playwright guy, he's really good. So I'm going to try and come and see it Saturday.
Aye, that's as usual. I've no absorbed many of the facts of the case or the things that have been said so far about Russell Brand, but what I have seen is the eagerness and the keenness in which people wanted to stick the boot in, like the amount that has been enjoyed by people online to jump on.
Well, it's like a sport, isn't it? It's like fucking blood sport. It's like people are just bored as well. People just want something to talk about.
I think so. When I'm doing that care work with the Waynes in there, I've seen other care workers like prefer it when the Waynes are on their tablets and their devices and stuff like that. But I'm like, I don't want the Wayne on a tablet because it's going to end up in bad moods. Because they're Waynes and they need to get rid of stuff and they're not doing it when they're glued to these devices. Things pretty much the same thing.
The devices are bad, man. They're bad. Having said that, I do love devices.
I know they're comforting. That's the problem.
I do enjoy devices and I started cataloguing my games collection. I thought I should do this.
By console.
I'm using an app and I buy Hingme. So I've only done my 3DO. I've only done my 3DO, the Game Boy Advance and the Nintendo DS so far and the PSP. It's just an app that lets you track it all, so it's like that's all my 3DO games. It's quite handy for like if you see something on eBay.
This is the thing they use in. Have you ever been to? Oh, you've been into the old arcades. You know the cafe we filmed in it once.
Yeah.
And, they went across the road and they got a big unit, but that's what he uses to when you're selecting the games. You use this software.
Oh right.
That's what he's got his library.
But it's been good fun, and you just scan the barcode. It's not even really a hassle. Like for most of them, there's a few things that don't. Some of my Japanese Game Boy Advance stuff wasn't on the thing, but it's been good. I've been enjoying playing my old 3DO lately.
Do you know how many games you own?
I'm total.
Roughly.
I mean, I don't know.
Any idea?
I will find out doing this. I genuinely don't know. I mean, I think I might have about 500 Switch games.
What?
I think so.
What's 500 Switch games? Did you know the thing where you had a bit of clear out as well at one time?
At one time I got rid of some stuff, aye. But I still have quite a lot of stuff. Of the ones I did there. How you doing? I said no, I wasn't. I play, a pie.
Jerry used to take me before he got more interest in ice hockey.
Busy boy, and he's a busy boy.
Have you been to Head?
Once. Dropped the puck.
Ah, right, okay. Do you dream vividly? I wrote that question down.
Do I dream vividly? Well, no really. What do you mean by vivid dreaming? I have dreams.
You remember the dreams in detail?
On occasion I remember the dreams, and on occasion I remember them in detail. But any of that stuff, you know, people talk about like, and I realised I was in the dream, and I could, you know, I mean, I was like, oh, I'm in the like, not in that. Many of that kind of awareness. I'll wake up and I'll go, like 3 or 4 nights ago, I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like,
who is that actor that was in, and there was an actor in my head that was in this cowboy film, right? And I knew the name of the film, and I went and I had my phone by my bed, and I picked up my phone and I went, I can't fucking get his name, and then I googled for the film, and then halfway through googling film for the film I went, this film doesn't exist. No only does this film not exist, that guy who I'm visualising in my head, he isn't anybody. There's no anybody.
Have you ever written down, like, had a thing to write ideas with and stuff like that? No,
Not really.
I did that before and wrote down, honestly, literal gibberish sometimes,
Aye.
like sentences that don't make
What's that
sense.
thing people say? Keep a notepad by your bed so if something comes to you that you can, and I'm
Paul
like,
McCartney used to wake up with songs and stuff, didn't he? So he says.
you know, you saw what he was capable of in that documentary. It's a different
I know.
kind of guy.
Is that? I never watched all of the parts of that Beatles documentary. Is that one of the main highlights? Him just strumming for a few minutes and then writing.
I just loved all of it, man. I loved the whole thing. You've not watched the whole thing?
You should check out the BBC Archive YouTube channel because it's just recently put up Ringo Starr and Blue Peter talking about his furniture that he's created. Stainless steel furniture that he's on trying to sell.
Is that downloadable, that footage? Can you download? I mean, it's YouTube, right? So I need to get some of that good stuff, man. He was creating furniture.
It's actually pretty good, wasn't it? He'd made a coffee table out of Rolls Royce grills, but he could only make one of them because it's quite hard to get Rolls Royce grills, he found it. Even if you're Ringo Starr.
He's some boy, isn't he? He's still kicking. I mean, that's great, isn't it?
They asked him on Blue Peter as well, like, how long you've been doing this, expecting the answer to be like 10 years, and he was like, a couple of months.
I love that though. It's just like, you know, you think you'd just be happy. I'm happy enough just to be Ringo Starr and I'll play the drums and that.
Yeah,
Dare I think me a bit
you want to
painting and
make a
making.
table.
I know. It's weird, and he did so much of his acting stuff as well, didn't he? And like, but I mean, I watched that fucking documentary and I was like, Ringo Starr's a fucking beautiful fucking human being, man. That's the main takeaway for that documentary. It's like, this band would have been fucked without that big fucking peaceful guy right in the middle of all of them, do you know what I mean?
Aye, it's an unusual temperament to have in the circumstances that he was living in.
Aye, and just to be and to be like such a so supportive and such a fan of all of them as well, like admiring them all so much, not and just being just like, it's that thing in it. It's that weird thing where it's like a successful band or a successful team or a successful group of creative people. Like, it's no about being the one that has all the fucking brilliant ideas. It's no, you need, it's the fucking, you know, it's these special ingredients, I think, that make it.
It's a mixture. What have you been to Level Olympics?
I have been.
It's good, isn't it?
That is good. That is good.
Did you do the bowling when you were in?
I didn't do the bowling, no, but I mean, they've got good air hockey tables. They get about that 4-way one.
Have you been on with the wins then and stuff?
Aye, I've been on with, well, we didn't do a full. There was 3 years. There was me and Waverley and Hope, and there was no holds barred. Even though it was the Wains, it was like, yeah, man, I know, but you need to go. I just said to Waverley, you're going to have to maybe duck at some point because I'm not holding back. I love air hockey. See if I was, that's one of the things, you know, like, see if I was like an extremely wealthy person with one of the big houses, you know, the big houses with the big games room and all that, that'd be the.
I can't believe I'm hearing you say this.
Why?
We got flat in Shawlands that would fit twice, I think, inside your living room.
I know, but you're living in fucking Shawlands and I'm living in Helensburgh.
I'm against it. I'm totally against it, but she's not having it.
You would
She
get
likes socialising and she likes culture and things like that. And I'm not into any of
a
that.
place like Helensburgh is only like 40 minutes in the train away from the town. It's just you just need to get more for your money. But if I had one of the ones, you know, I'm talking about one of the big 8-9 bedroom.
I saw this penthouse apartment. It said apartment, but it was on 2 levels, overlooking Central Park in New York. $75 million. But it was huge. But I couldn't stay there. It was all glass fronted. I was too scared to go anywhere near them. The front of it.
Aye.
Where would you live? Like, if you had Tom Hanks money? If you get a couple of places, I mean, you've not travelled that much, though, have you?
No, I would stay in Scotland. I'd love to have a flat in New York. It would be amazing to have a flat in New York because I think even travelling to New York's not that
I
bad.
definitely wouldn't remember late teens, a lot of 20s. I was keen on going to New York. It kind of wore off me now. I don't really. That and like Tokyo, I'm kind of not really as interested as I used to be when I was younger. I'd like to go to Japan.
I think you would love New York.
Sure.
I think if you went in a short, because I know sometimes you go to a big city, you're quite bad for going to a big city and being like, it's bogging or just like a north city and you know what I mean? And it's probably true. New York is not clean, really, right?
Is it not? I thought that
Well, it's clean enough, but it stinks, right?
Well, Barcelona's beautiful and stuff, but it stinks as well.
Yeah. But when you go to New York, you genuinely, and I know everybody says this and it's a cliche, but it's a cliche because it's true, it feels like being in a film. It feels like being in it. It feels completely surreal. I don't know if it's anywhere I could genuinely, like I said this to Jim when we came back, I don't know if I could stay there actually, you know what I mean, maybe in a different life or whatever, you know what I mean, but it feels like being in a film. Like see when you go to Central Park and you're walking around Central Park with a coffee or whatever, and it's beautiful Central
It's
Park.
amazing that there's
green.
so many people that live there that have that in their heads as well, this kind of image of my life is like a film, because I might bump into Ross for friends or whatever.
Well, I mean, there's just something, you're just kind of like, well, this is where this is everything in Western culture all comes.
I know Central Park's huge. Is it? How long did you spend in it?
It's not that huge.
Is it no?
No.
What I was going to ask is there actually anywhere in it that you could like go to be alone? Sort of like, is it that big?
Well, I mean, I suppose it would depend when you go and all that kind of stuff, but definitely. Me and Jen got up early and it was maybe like 8:30 in the morning and we were having a stroll through Central Park and it was quite quiet, you know. An occasional jogger would go by or whatever, you know what I mean, but it was quite quiet. I think it's maybe because it's like, you know, if you lived in New York you'd be like, fucking Central Park, you know what I mean, you wouldn't be there a lot probably, you know what I mean, because it's, you know, maybe tourists go, I don't know, maybe I'm talking shite, but it really is amazing. And the main takeaway I took away from New York, which I didn't expect, was it feels really wee. It feels wee.
Closed, you mean, or
no, like wee. It was like, so we were in a hotel room in Times Square, right? And then I went, we'll take a walk to Central Park and we'll take a walk around Central Park. It didn't take that long. We walked to Central Park and then we went up and walked around Central Park, and then maybe because the tube system's so good and all of that, it just kind of felt like, right, we're going to go to Brooklyn, we'll go across the Brooklyn Bridge, we'll get the tube, we're there and hang me, and then you're there, and then you're looking back and you're going, that's just. And in my head I just thought, it's America, it's New York, it's going to be massive and hang me, but actually, like when you go down,
you're talking about Central thing.
yeah, I'm talking about mainly Manhattan, and then when we went down into the financial district, you're just kind of like, all right, so this is the financial district here, just right beside, all right, and there's Wall Street, right, okay, so and then it was just like trying to get your bearings. This is where that is. This is where. It was just weird to kind of piece it all together in my head and kind of go. So it's not this giant sprawling metropolis. It's kind of more tight and compact and up the way, but it feels. I don't know. It just kind of felt. But it is amazing. It is just, you feel it being enough.
So how many places have you been to then abroad?
Oh, no many at all.
No many?
Been to Spain.
Whereabouts?
Been to, when I was a wee guy, Benidorm.
Right.
Been to Malaga when I was older.
Kind of touristy wee places.
Malaga was beautiful though, I thought. I was quite surprised by Malaga. I've never been to Italy. I've only been to Euro Disney in France. I've never been anywhere else.
I've only been to Paris and I didn't like it.
You didn't like Paris. I've never been in the Americas. I've only ever been to New York.
Never been to America.
Never been to South America. I've never been to Canada. Never been to any
I'd love
of
to go
that.
to South America. We were talking about like a big holiday, me and Safi, and the two front runners were either Thailand or Chile.
Nice.
See, when you look at pictures of Chile online, it's such a beautiful country, and it's the shape of the country. It's like every different climate and every different kind of terrain is in Chile. So walking through the country must be an experience.
But that's really it for me.
Right.
And you know, and that's a weird thing because it's like Jen's been to everywhere. Like, you know what I mean? She's been to like Thailand, she's been to China.
Did she do like a trip, take a year out or longer?
She did a wee bit of that, but she's just really well. She just was going away a lot anyway, so she did a bit of travel about, but also she like spent a lot of time in Oman, and she.
Do you never have any kind of? I know the answer to this, but I'll ask it anyway. Does that difference between the two of you never produce any negative thinking for you? Like, this lassie so well travelled and...
Well, only that I was kind of like, God, I hope she doesn't end up fucking bored with me because I'm no a massive traveller or anything. But we've had the Waynes, and it's difficult to travel with the Waynes anyway. But I think it works out quite well because I do want to travel more now. You know what I mean? And so I'm moving more towards her position. Like, she likes travelling, and I kind of want to travel. You know what I mean?
Have you ever been to Barcelona?
No.
You should go to Barcelona.
Have I been to Barcelona? I've been to Madrid.
Right.
I've been to Madrid. I've never been to Barcelona.
I'm sure there's quarters, like sections of Madrid that resemble Barcelona, but Barcelona, we stayed in like the Gothic quarter,
Aye.
and it's just really old architecture, and it's just. I love the. Well, you have all the wee narrow streets and everything, but I love the way the city, these parts of the cities are designed where there's like so many squares and like common areas and stuff like that. Because it just gives the city a kind of buzz all the time.
Because I'm not really a beach guy. I like going and I've
been to Barcelona twice before the last time I was there, and I didn't even know there was a beach in Barcelona. So I'd never been
I wouldn't have thought that either. But, I mean, we've not even been to Florence. Like, we should go to Florence with our family because,
Do you have any family there?
No, I don't think so. Frances, my sister, she lives up in northern Italy, in a wee place in northern Italy now. She's lived there for about 4 or 5 years now, so I should go and visit her. I need to go to the toilet. I need to watch my time as well, by the way. A long time since I've been in here. The toilets are all been done up. New wallpaper.
You ever been to a wedding in here?
Nah.
Yeah, you know Emma, didn't you?
I do.
She was my husband.
Nice.
It was beautiful, but I think it was really expensive.
Did you stay in touch with Emma, Anthony?
No, unfortunately no. Did you find that when you split up with Joanne that you kind of lost any pounds?
Oh, aye, like kind of mutual.
When I was checking the SD cards to put into these sound recorders, I found one that must have been in a camera of Dee's, and there was all pictures of Dee and a couple of her pills, and that was making me think about that. But I suppose another regret is that kind of can't really stay in touch with.
You just can't really, can you know? I mean, it's just, I know it's like it's an idealised view it is. Well, you know, everybody can be just grown-ups and blah, blah, but it's not as... But also time just goes by, doesn't it, as well?
It's a tricky one, that reminding yourself that your kind of memory of people is just the memory of the people, and they've moved on and stuff, changed. Who was it that said about his partner that she said that it was Kanye one time? She gave him the best years of her life. I saw a recent picture and she was right.
That's absolutely brutal, isn't it?
What are you reviewing this month?
What am I reviewing this month?
What's your process like for making content? That's an interesting question, because we've been doing Consulvania now for more than 6.5 years, I think. We've been doing it monthly.
Aye.
And my process every single month is fucking panic. Tell yourself that you can't do it and it's going to be shite, and then get through it and then start again in like 3.5 weeks.
I mean, it's weird. It's like...
Are you able to avoid these mental obstacles about not being good enough?
No. Nobody is. I don't believe anybody is. Sociopaths maybe are. For me, it's just like trying not to be completely knackered, because I need to do anything I need to do of that nature has to be done at night, because otherwise it's just the racket in my house. It's just the noise is fucking unbelievable. It's just a constant racket. So everybody has to be in bed and then I need to not be knackered and need to try and do it at
You
night.
generally knackered.
Well, sometimes, but sometimes I'm alright, you know what I mean? It just depends, there's no rhyme or reason for it either. And then it's just a case of, and then I quite enjoy it, like I enjoy the sitting down and just blethering and putting together the stuff. I enjoy playing the games. I mean, in fact, I would say I'm back in a period of really enjoying playing the games, do you know what I mean?
You section out a time in days where you play games mostly.
A wee bit, but I'm also like, at any chance I get, I pick up. That's why most of the stuff I review is on the Switch though, because any chance I get, I'll pick up the Switch. And
That OLED Switch is fucking lovely. That's definitely my favourite console.
aye. I mean, they're beautiful and just handy, just really handy. And I hope when the Switch 2 gets announced, it's backwards compatible. And
Do you think they'll do anything different, or do you think it'll just be off the... It's just...
I don't want them to do anything different, really.
I was just thinking about the last time that they didn't have a major revamp. The last time they really did something that much different was the Wii U, and it was a total kind of non-event. And nobody really noticed it happened for some reason.
I mean, I would be quite happy for them to just, you know, gaze at me a powerful machine, and you know, it's backwards compatible, and the controllers are better. They've worked on that drift thing and fixed all that. They'll probably will stick some kind of gimmick in, you know what I mean? Because it's Nintendo, ain't they? Like a wee.
They've got a department working on that kind of thing, so they'll come up with something.
So there might be something, but what that would be, I don't know.
Would you get a chip put in your heads that would make games look fully immersive?
No. Particularly, I would say, because most of the stuff that I play and enjoy is older stuff.
Right.
So I would say that the wave of games that are like photorealistic, immersive, you're in the world, have been disappointing, I would say. I think that wave of stuff has been quite disappointing, and I find myself kind of going back more to, and even modern games that come out, the ones that more appeal to me are ones that are more like classic video games, like even something like Baldur's Gate 3. That appeals to me because it just looks like a very modern, very rich, big budget implementation of quite an old model of a game.
It also has a kind of... It doesn't have as refined design, if you know. It doesn't have... by design, I mean, like... Take something like Cyberpunk, where the game looks like the font that the game is written in, if you know. It's very within that bit. Baldur's Gate looks a bit kind of chaotic and a wee bit messy sometimes.
Which feels like the way a PC game should be, kind of. And me, like, I'm very much... I enjoy the traditional Japanese RPG style, and I'm not really that bothered about put a chip in your head and you'll feel like you're really there. I'm kind of like, I don't really want to really feel like I'm really there.
It's like,
Well, maybe.
as soon as that's invented, that's just the thing. That's the thing they'll get.
It also depends what they bring out on it. So it's like, you know. But that, you know, we'll never see a chip in our heads.
You sure?
We'll be in the ground. We'll be long in the ground before any chips are gone in anybody's heads. They can't put a chip in a monkey's head now without killing the monkey, so there's no chance we're going to see any chips in our heads. I mean, I'm a big fan of VR.
I know.
You know, I like that. That's enough for me, just sticking a VR helmet in my head, and I can get immersed enough in that.
Do you like Astro Bot?
Aye.
Love that, yeah.
Aye. But I didn't bother getting the PlayStation VR 2.
For what reason?
Because it had a cable attached to the PlayStation 5, and that was the reason why. Because the Quest, Disney, the Quest, you know, and I just think you can't go back there now.
I know.
You can't go back to tethering your things. That kills immersion for me in a VR
What are
thing.
the drawbacks then? I know having the cable, is it just battery
Less
life?
power, I suppose, like less.
It does affect performance a wee bit then.
See you later, my man. See you later. I think the PSVR 2, gets a lot of its grunt for the PS5 processing and stuff, but I don't care. I would rather have something that looks less good than no. I would rather have something that wasn't attached.
Right, so you wouldn't say that you are somebody who puts things in your calendar, but you don't plan things ahead? No, not at all?
No, not really. I wouldn't say so. I don't have a 5-year plan or anything like that. Some people have I wouldn't say so.
Do you have any goals, like loose goals that you...
I mean, I've always, I want to be making films, but I'm just kind of settled into the fact now that that's maybe just not what I'm going to be doing, you know what I mean? It's like...
For what reason though? Just family, busyness and...
Yeah, just because I need to make, you're not going to make money if you're making films, you're just not going to make money, and I need to, you know what I mean? I just need to, it's the veins, so I need to be...
Such a difficult thing to come to terms with when you've got so many pals that start all their families and stuff like that, and that's what time becomes money. It's like, if I've got free time and I need to be getting this much out of it just to survive, sort of thing. But,
there is a bit of that about it, and I would love to go. I'm going to take 6 months off and make a low budget film, put a bit of my own money into it and try and get some money in it, but I just kind of feel that's never going to fucking happen. And I would just... I need to do that, I need to go, that's just not going to happen, and then just go on with things. Do you know what I mean? I'm also quite old now as well. It's like, you know, many people making films.
it's a different world, it's a different time.
I know.
There's different paths to getting it done.
I would argue that it's a worse time than ever to be making films, though, because it's like...
To make it be successful and stuff.
Yeah, because everything's flopping and everything's, only big budget things are really cutting through, and it's all franchises, and there's no really cinema the way it used to be.
If I was making a film, though, I mean, I would still love to make a film, but if I was making one, I would be making it just to try and enjoy making it, I think.
Aye.
Which is what I liked about that guy, I've forgotten his name now, the guy that was the runner on Video Guiding.
Paul Morris,
Morris, that's what I liked about his stuff.
Totally, yeah.
He was just trying to enjoy it while it was happening. That's the way you have to do it.
So I mean, I would love to be doing that, but at the minute I'm just kind of like, just the same as I've always been doing, just like getting pots on the boil and hoping that something comes up, hoping to get lucky, buying the lottery ticket basically of kind of pitching luck and hoping something happens.
What is the lottery ticket? Just something that gets picked up by...
Yeah, just writing something and sending it and hoping for a commission for this or something for that.
Do you have little notebooks and stuff that you've kept?
Loads of
Do you ever get back into them?
No, really. No, really. Occasionally, but no, really, because everything.
Ages.
Yeah, everything you did in the past was rotten, kind of rotten, or looks rotten, or at least you tell yourself that it is.
I've kept so many, because I've had a good few flirtations with doing stand-up. I've kept so many notes that I've kept there years.
It's not a good thing for your ego to go through the old books and be like, why would I have kept that? Why would I have put that in? But so it's just the same as ever. Really, it's like I can't really plan ahead, because it's that weird thing of like something could happen where it's like, well, see that idea you had 6 months ago, somebody's interested in it now, can you? And then suddenly like, I need to do that now. You know what I mean? So it's like, it'd be lovely to be in a position where you could go, well, I'm going to do this next year, I'm going to focus on this. Just never really been able to do that, really. You know what I mean? But that's fine. I've been certainly not complaining about it.
Are you envious at anybody at any point?
Nah, no, really. I feel quite lucky, so I'm really no envious at anybody. Try to think. Nah, no, really. Obviously, you get the things where you kind of go, how come that guy's fucking directing a Star Wars film or this is a random example. How come? Because sometimes you get that thing where it's like somebody's got a big gig doing a thing and you're kind of like, what have they done? They fucking no barely done anything. You know what I mean? But that's not really envy, is it? That's just kind of going. But I'll certainly know anybody like I'm personally envious of. Do you know what I mean? That's one of the things as well. As you get older, you kind of realise that everybody's got their own the fucking cross to bear. You know what I mean? It's like you wouldn't. I think if you're happy in your own life, if you're in general happy in your own life, then how could you fucking possibly be envious of somebody else? Because you fucking don't know. You don't know what's going on with people. You know what I mean? Outward success doesn't mean anything. So, no, I feel very lucky. I
felt like some kind of big revelation that I had like only just a few years ago was realising that it's good to have enough money, it's good to be able to beat the thing that you need to beat to pay to feed yourself or whatever, or get a coffee if you fancy it, but money's like not going to do with happiness.
No, it's like absolutely not going to do with happiness. But having somebody like with Jen, for example, somebody in your life who's like you know, it's that I say to Jen all the time, it's like I could happily just like all of us could just go away, just run away, and that's all I need, you know what I mean? It's like I
think that's more a guy thing than a woman thing. I think they want more socialising and
aye. Well, I mean, I don't know, Jen is a wee bit like she probably more than me likes the idea of the going away to somewhere fucking you know, nobody can get to and being, you know, putting the Waynes into a village school or whatever, you know what I mean? So she's far more into that idea than me. So there's not really that much stoning in our wife doing that kind of thing, to be honest, do you know what I mean? And I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up moving further out into the further north or
it was
whatever.
only like a year and a half ago that I went to the Highlands properly for the first time, and it's no left me, just that thought, I want to live there. I want to live in that other world.
Can people say things to you like, but you fucking gets to the winter and you get fucking snowed in, you can, and I'm like, and?
Forget internet.
And?
Forget internet and candles.
No, totally.
So you don't set goals. What do you hope for in your life? You must have some kind of...
Just that I'm about for a long time. Like, I hope certainly that's my main hope. My main hope is you see it multiple times.
Fit and healthy, because you don't want to stick it in if you're loads time.
Fit and healthier maybe than I used to.
I've got all my care certificates now that I can come in and take you to the toilet and stuff.
White Mars. No, you're very aware with the young Waynes, particularly when like the twins have just started kind of being like looking at me and kind of going, "You got grey hair." The other day Winter says to me, "Your hair is grey, Daddy. You're the shape of a grandad." The shape of a grandad. That's what she said. I think what she meant was I look like a grandad because I had grey hair, but way of processing and saying that I was the shape of a grandad. And she was kind of worried about that because her granddads are old and granddads die, you know, and that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? It's like that chain they follow. Like Waverley the other day just announced. Well, Waverley announced to Winter and Lark. Waverley was in the bath the other day and Winter and Lark were just playing about and Waverley went, "Winter, do you know that one day your mummy and daddy will die?" She just said, and Winter was like, "What? No, I don't." So there was that. But they get an awareness of stuff, age and death and all that, and I kind of want to be around for the Waynes for as long as I can. So that's my main hope. And for Jen, my main hope is that I'm about long enough now. Luckily, you know, touch wood, my ma lived till she was in her 80s, and my dad lived until he was in his 80s, and my Auntie Peggy's still gone. She's like 90 now, and my Uncle Charlie's still gone. They're quite a long-lived family. So fingers crossed. It still doesn't feel like a lot of time. Now as I'm approaching 50, I can't fucking believe I'm approaching 50.
People like us supposed to be making livings though when we're in our like 50s and 60s. Still keep doing this.
I don't know. Imagine trying to encourage anybody to watch the Two Old Men. We used to joke about it, remember? We used to joke about like Two Old Men. It'll be so funny, we said, when it's two old guys. But maybe, I think it will get funnier. I think it will start to reach that tipping point of like, are these fucking old guys still playing? What are they doing?
As long as I can get a chance to like, do a couple of layers of editing on my content, then it can keep up. But if you see it raw, it's fucking embarrassing.
No, aye. Totally. You need to cut out the early onset Alzheimer's moments where you go completely glassy, like the fucking that Mitch McConnell. Did you see that? The politician, American politician, Mitch McConnell. Fucking Google that.
Don't Google it now, Google it, because you don't want to be laughing in public at a guy.
Is it a video?
Yeah, it's that. Right, I'm going to have to boost, by the way.
There was one more question that I never asked
What was it?
that I meant to ask, because obviously we've got a good few things in common, obviously, because a lot of interest and stuff, but I was interested in things that we maybe disagreed on, and one of the things that I could think of was maybe drugs.
Aye.
What your current views are on drugs.
On drugs?
Aye. What do you think of drugs?
Because we disagreed on them.
I had it in my head that maybe I have a much more liberal, I suppose, attitude, like a Amsterdam for the wire type of attitude, where I was like, the problem doesn't come from the drugs, the problem comes from the people taking the drugs, and because like I obviously had a drinking problem for a good while, and for years and years I would say like you should ban drink, it's too dangerous, you need to get rid of it, it does too much damage to people. But after a few years I started to be more of the thinking that it's the person taking the drug and abusing it that...
I'm still
But
not...
you haven't experimented much yourself,
I haven't experimented at all, like with drugs, at all. I still feel very much that I'm still very much against them.
For what reason?
Because I just don't... They're just no for me, and I don't think they're really good for anybody, if I'm being honest. And I think there's a dishonesty in this country, I think, in the public discourse. There is a dishonesty in this country, and I'll stand and fight this corner. I feel like in Scotland, maybe particularly in Scotland, the reason why Scotland has such an issue with drugs is it's always been unfashionable to be anti-drugs in Scotland. For as long as I can remember, it's been quite unfashionable to be anti-drugs in Scotland. I know it's quite unfashionable everywhere, right?
People who take drugs will have a kind of feeling of drugs are a wee bit cool.
But even in general, though, I kind of think like people don't really want to speak out in a kind of anti-nature or even, you know. And I don't think that extreme laws are the answer or anything like that, right? But I do think the communication needs to be more honest, and I don't think communication is honest. So I'll get as an example, there is a lot of talk recently, and has been a lot of talk of late about the fact there's a male suicide crisis in Scotland, right? Everybody knows it, right? Men in Scotland kill themselves a lot, right? But what I don't think is spoken about, that in my personal...
Is what they're being destabilised by their use?
In my personal life, I know a couple of guys that have committed suicide, and I've heard stories of other guys that have committed suicide, and I genuinely think the casual use of cocaine in Scotland has become quite a casual usage. It's not even seen as a big deal and stuff like that. I think that there is a direct correlation between that casual drug taking and... No, I'm not saying...
Do you get the feeling that that's the drug of choice in the industry that you're in?
I genuinely have not seen that much yet. But the industry I'm in, though, is... Like, I'm in the house writing. I'm the juror, so I've never really been caught about with producers and execs or anything like that. But I don't even think it's that. I think punters, guys, painters and decorators, people's dads, boys that play five-a-side football, I think they're all, well, no they're all, but a lot of them are taking cocaine at the weekend casually.
My brother-in-law has been playing five-a-side football for forever, for decades basically, but he had a pal with drop beats playing it.
Aye.
Used quite regularly.
But I'm not saying that they cause the mental health problems, but what I'm saying is that I think there is a direct correlation between the kind of casual usage of recreational drugs in this country and the fact that guys have less chance of getting through that suicidal night where they have the fucking stupid idea and they think, I'm going to do this. And if they're fucking on coke or whatever, then they maybe take that step that they would need. And we know it's the case that with a lot of suicide people, if they can make it through to the next morning and they don't do it, then that's one battle won and a step closer to them being. But I think when you hear the conversation, when does that ever come up? When you hear the conversation about you know, a Scottish suicide crisis among men in Scotland and stuff like that. You don't hear anybody going, maybe we should be trying to make an effort to get some of the guys off the fucking gear at the weekend.
The thing about that is that I think once these kind of statistics are at this level, it's difficult to roll it back. And my whole thing is, I just don't see the advantage of making them illegal. I don't really see making them illegal and no studying them in any way. I don't understand.
I don't think that. I don't think there's.
Understand what's happening.
I don't think there's an advantage in making them illegal either. I wouldn't soften it any though. I don't
think you should go to jail for years and years for taking magic mushrooms.
No, I don't think you should go to jail for years and years for taking magic mushrooms either. But I think there has to be more conversation about how harmful that lifestyle is to your mental health. I don't think there is that. You know what I mean?
Another byproduct of these things being illegal is that it's hidden as well. It's like if somebody is using cocaine, then they definitely don't talk about it.
Aye.
Which doesn't help.
So I'm probably still as against it as I ever was, because I just think, you know. But certainly, it's like, obviously there's a sliding scale as well. It's like, well, I wouldn't want to. It's that thing as well, just in your personal life. Like, I wouldn't want to be with somebody or live with somebody that smoked weed all the time, and I wouldn't want to be with. Obviously, wouldn't want to be with somebody that was fucking doing coke and all of that. And wouldn't want to be with, because it's just.
I don't know how anybody can afford to do that.
No, I know. But aye, so I would say I'm still quite against it, but I'm no like hardline. Ban everybody, jail everybody, but I do think I'm still quite judgmental, I would say, and I'm still quite. You know, you get people nowadays like Hangman. He's a nice guy. He deals drugs on the side. He does Hangman and all that. I'm still kind of that frame of mind. That's not a nice guy.
You're in the room with The Godfather in 1977. No, dealing that one up.
No, I'm kind of a wee bit like that. I'm kind of like, well, that person, I would make a moral judgment and kind of go, that's not a fucking good person that's doing that. You know what I mean? But then, but I'm also like, again, it's just getting older. It's just I don't feel as passionate about any of this stuff anymore. You know?
Never been intrigued, like even by like psychedelics or anything like that?
No, definitely no. I've definitely never been intrigued by psychedelics. Nah, not at all. I feel like there's enough. This simulation is enough. I'm getting enough.
I'm more kind of what's going on in the corner for this simulation. But
I just don't believe there is anything around the corner.
Also, I think it almost definitely has something to do with the fact that I'm like something in me's going, I'm not equipped properly to deal with this very well. Like I always have that thing that I don't have the requisite. Why I have so many bad relationships is I don't have the requisite amount of social skills, or like I'm not wired properly to be able to do this this kind of life.
Well, I mean, you've not done that badly though. You're talking like there's. How long have we known each other? Almost 30 years now.
Nearly 30.
Almost 30 years. That's not bad. May have been ups and downs and stuff like that, but there can't be that much wrong with either of us that we still know each other 30 years down the line. A lot of people don't have any friendships as long as that. So
Right, anyway,
I need to rush to get my.
You like the way he was wailing away that bass, huh? Oh, yeah. You had fantasies being plucked to death, huh?
Well, I know that
Yeah, but he was very good. You play on one hand, so at least you have one free. You play the piano. Right. 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 Right.